everyone. On behalf of the entire OMIMO community, I'd like to welcome you all to the OMIMO Community Forum 2024. It's an absolute honor to be here with people from all over the world. We have participants joining from more than 51 countries, and it's amazing to see the global reach and passion behind this community. We're all coming together to shape the future of project management, share our ideas, and celebrate our collective achievements. Before we dive in, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Saar, and I will be your host for this forum. I'm part of the OMIMO events team, and together with my team behind the scenes, we will make sure that this event runs smoothly. This event celebrates the community's achievements and brings people together to discuss OMIMO's future. Your input will make this event special because it will influence the future direction of OMIMO and all its modules. Now, let me share a quick overview of what to expect and a few guidelines to ensure that everyone has a great experience. We will begin with reflecting on OMIMO's origins and how we've grown to where we are today. Next, we'll celebrate our recent successes and achievements, and then, perhaps the most exciting part, we'll look ahead to the future of OMIMO with some important announcements and interactive breakout sessions. For the breakout sessions, we have two types of participants. First, active participants. You will be invited to join small breakout rooms where we will dive into the development of new management modules. These will be lively discussions where your input will help shape what is next for OMIMO. And second, we have spectators. That's everyone who is joining from LinkedIn Live or other platforms. During the breakout sessions, 3 organizations will introduce their open software to you, pieces of software that you might find useful in managing your project. And during that, you can also submit your opinions about the future of OMIMO, which will then be added to the output generated by the active participants. A few important reminders before we begin. First of all, we will end this event with an open forum. So if you have any questions about OMIMO, you can submit them whenever you like, and using the comment section under the live stream or the questions panel in the teleconferencing. We will collect all the questions, and we will answer most of them during the open forum at the end. All other questions will be answered in writing on our website. So rest assured, even if we don't have the time tonight, all of the questions and answers will be made available on our website. Thirdly, if you encounter any technical difficulties during the event, or if you want to reach the team, you can email us at events@omimo.org. And also, the recorded version of the presentations will be made available on the OMIMO website in a few days. Now, let's get started with our journey. Thank you for being here, and let's make this a most memorable and impactful forum. To kick off the forum, let me introduce the first 2 speakers who are going to discuss where it all started. Take it away, Kaatje and Eileen.
Good evening, OMIMO community. Great to be with you this evening. I am here today to share the story of OMIMO that started back in 2014, almost 10 years ago. At that time, a lot of project managers ran their projects on an ad hoc basis. Although many structured project management methods existed, a lot of project managers failed to implement them in their projects. And this is a real problem because it led to a lot of projects being ran inefficiently and not reaching their full potential. And so the journey of OMIMO starts in 2014 with this common problem in mind. Diagnosis showed that the main reason for the failure to use and implement existing project management methods is that they were simply too heavy. They were designed, the system and the resources, to be able to cover all edge cases in different projects, which made them, for many project managers, too complicated and difficult to use for many more standard projects. And so in comes P3 Express. It was developed to solve this exact issue. P3 Express is a minimalist project management system, which means that it really focuses on all of the essential aspects. The purpose was never to be able to cover all projects, but about 80% of them, while at the same time considerably reducing the effort needed to implement it. And this minimalism would go on to become one of the core values behind OMIMO. Another key aspect that the team had in mind when working on P3 Express is that they really wanted the system to be truly freedom-respecting, which means that everyone is able to learn it, to use it, to teach it without copyright limitations. And so, in 2016, the first version of P3 Express was launched, was published, under a non-proprietary Creative Commons license. And this is important because it ensures that everyone is able to use it without restrictions, and also that its usage rights are legally permanent and can therefore never be revoked. And the fact that the system is libre and open would become the second pillar behind the OMIMO philosophy. And so the community was gradually growing. And based on their feedback, it also became clear that it would be a good idea to add guiding principles to P3 Express. And while the team was working on designing those principles, it also became clear to them that they didn't only apply to P3 Express, but that they were really applicable to all project management systems, and that they could also be modular. And so in 2019, NOOP was born, the nearly universal principles of projects, and at the same time the concept of modularity, which became the third pillar behind OMIMO. And so the journey continues, and the team keeps on working on further improving P3 Express. And then in 2022, something really interesting happens. And I invite Eileen to the stage to share us a bit more about that.
Thank you, Katja.
Thank you, Ali.
Indeed, in 2022, something marvelous happened. The Erasmus Plus program of the European Union started funding P3 Express to help improve project management in Europe. This funding meant that everything in P3 Express was about to accelerate. Soon, we released the second version of P3 Express, along with additional material to make it easier for people to learn and use it. As a result, the P3 Express community skyrocketed. We got more and more people getting more involved and contributing in different ways, such as translating it in different languages for people. Just name one example. We also started to receive feedback from project managers from all over the world, working on different topics like IT to construction, even to artistic and humanitarian projects. And soon we realized one thing. Many of these were small-scale or micro projects without a dedicated project manager. But P3 Express was not originally designed with such projects in mind. In other words, we realized that we needed a new flavor of P3 Express. The community rolled up their sleeves, and in 2022, in the same year, we launched Micro P3 Express for micro projects from 1 to 7 people who often don't have a dedicated or experienced project manager. By this time, we had 3 modules in hand: P3 Express, NOF, and Micro P3 Express. and we needed a name for this family of modules. We launched a campaign in the community to get their input, and lo and behold, OMIMO was born. OMIMO is a constant reminder of our core principles: open, minimalist, and modular. As we catch up with the timeline, there's one final module that we would like to share with you, and that is P5 Express. P5 Express was published only a few months after OMIMO was founded, and it is a module aimed at minimalist portfolio management. With this, I hope we have given you a good understanding of where OMIMO comes from. We're all looking forward to seeing how this story will go in the next years. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or in the comments. We will be happy to answer them after the event. Back to you, Sar.
Thank you, Kaatje and Eileen, for this interesting overview. Now that we've reflected on the journey that's brought us here, let's take a moment to celebrate where we are today and look at some achievements. OMIMO has grown far beyond than what we could have imagined when P3 Express was first launched. What started as a minimalist project management system has evolved into a broad movement and a diverse community that spans countries, languages, and even industries. A living, breathing network of professionals, learners, and contributors who believe in the power of open, minimalist, and modular systems. We have asked our global community to share who they are, where they are from, and how they contribute to OMIMO. The result is a powerful reminder that this community is more than just a few project management-related modules. It's a collective of passionate, engaged individuals who believe in making project management accessible to all.
Здравейте, аз съм Тодор Тодоров и съм от България.
Xin chào, mình là Nhi đến từ Việt Nam.
Hi, my name is Matt Williams and I'm from Britain.
Unë jam Denisa Bayraktari nga Shqipëria.
أنا مها بنت نوح المطيري من المملكة العربية السعودية.
I am Pavel Ioannis from Lithuania.
Sevan Konur from Istanbul, Turkey.
Ela Kotelinska, Poland.
I'm Alfred from Nigeria.
Hi, my name is Sina and I'm living in Finland.
Minsk, Belarus.
Slovakia.
Malta.
Sudan. Catalonia.
Jordan.
Belgium.
I am a user and a contributor to all OMIMO modules.
Использую, провожу тренинги, а также вношу свой вклад в развитие сообщества OMIMO.
وأنا جزء من مجموعة الأشخاص اللي جابوا P3 Express على الأردن.
To je jeden z dôvodov, prečo sme sa ho rozhodli priniesť na slovenský a český trh.
من سفیر P3 Express در ایرانم و در ترجمه تمامی ماژول‌های OMIMO
مدرب معتمد في إدارة المشاريع المبسطة P3 Express.
Com a voluntària de projectes d'economia social i solidària, crec que el P3 Express pot aportar molt per millorar el nostre èxit и eficàcia.
Ще използваме P3 Express методологията за управление на задачи, свързани с голям проект, финансиран от Европейската комисия за създаването и развитието на най-голямата водородна долина в Източна Европа.
Hiện tại team mình cũng đã và đang áp dụng phương pháp quản lý dự án tối giản này.
من خلال استخدام منهجية P3 Express استطعت التجسير بين تصميم المشاريع التنموية وتنفيذها.
I use the tools and techniques of P3 Express to help my team members to get ready from day one on project.
أصبحت أطبقها في جميع مشاريعي الشخصية والغير شخصية.
We switched to P3 Express as our main project management system.
Door manual in P3 Express from a smart cima PM.
I use these modules in business small company.
My organization and my projects
to focus on what matters the most. It provides a roadmap for project implementation.
Wow, it is truly inspiring to see the incredible community we've built together. Now, let's turn our attention to this community's tangible impact. We will take a closer look at the OMIMO in numbers and celebrate our achievements. They have resulted in collective efforts. Joining us to share these important insights is Chris Meulemans. Chris, over to you.
Thank you, Sar, and hello everyone. If you're a bit like me,
you might like to quantify things a bit. So we're going to look at the current state of OMIMO in numbers. You might remember this diagram from the earlier talk. And one of the most obvious numbers here is this number here, is the length, is the age of OMIMO. So depending on how you look at it, OMIMO is either 8 or 10 years old. 10 years if you look at when the work first started. 8 years if you count from the first public output, P3 Express. Time really flies, certainly in projects. Now, even though it's already been 10 years, OMIMO is still like a young family with a fast and steady growth. That growth is really remarkable because it's organic. It's not being driven by marketing, by sales as a commercial product. And most of the adoption is because it's just something that people can really use. It's not proprietary. So it means that people can use it, they can contribute to it, and they can collaborate with the full confidence that they will always have access to the modules and their work. In the community, there are about 250 active contributors, people that help on essential aspects of the modules, reviewing them, leaving comments for improvement. Now, to give you some perspective on that number, one of the oldest, most famous project management communities only has 3 times as many active contributors. Considering the relatively young age of OMIMO, that is really a wonderful achievement, and it's thanks to our active community. Let's talk some more about that community. A lot of our members from the community have helped us translate the modules. Looking at P3 Express, that's already available in 29 languages. You can see the other ones on screen as well. Now, interestingly, 79% of all people that look at P3 Express, they are reading it in a language that is other than English. Now, if you're going to look at it and your favorite language is not available, and you like to translate, well, do let us know and get in touch. In 2024, on average, 18,000 people visited the P3 Express pages online every month. That's quite some achievement. And you see there as well for NUP, 5,000, and the details for the other ones. Now let's look and dig a bit deeper in that data, in that growth. What we're seeing here is the unique monthly visits for P3 Express over the years. And you can see that is a nice growth curve. Now, all OMIMO websites, when we're talking about websites, they're very privacy friendly. They do not use tracking analysis. And for the technical people among us, the statistics are all collected by simple server-side logging without any JavaScript. And we actually use a nice little open source software for that called Matomo. Being about transparency, we make sure that all the data and the traffic data is available to you. So here's the link for the P3 Express statistics, and you of course can take the QR code as well. For all other modules, the data will be available soon. For the last number, another important group in our community are our accredited trainers. They help candidates learn and use P3 Express. Now, of course, on top of that, many more trainers are in the community helping others. But since they're not accredited, we don't have a real number for that. Rounding up, that is all for the numbers. And I'm truly looking forward to seeing how those numbers will grow in the next year. But first, back to Saar in the studio.
Thank you, Chris, for those insightful statistics that showcase our community's accomplishments. Those numbers are not just figures. They reflect the vibrant engagement of our members that are potential for an even greater impact. We've seen this enthusiasm translate into action with the natural growth of several independent user groups over the past couple of years. These groups have become increasingly active, and now we want to harness that momentum by providing guidelines and resources to support them in achieving their goals. This initiative is a fantastic opportunity for those of you looking to deepen the involvement in the community and make a difference in your country or your sector. To explain this exciting development, I am pleased to welcome Alexander van Steenbergen to share the details. Alexander, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Over more than 5 years ago, since then, already a lot of new active independent user groups, independent of OMIMO, have formed. Those groups concentrate on P3 Express and other OMIMO modules. You can see them as platforms where people connect to discuss topics and help each other. Those groups are truly decentralized. They are independent of OMIMO, but they have as well their own structure and their own leadership. But we want to help them. We want to help them to connect to users, while, of course, respecting their autonomy. This begs the question, what exactly is an independent user group? And the latest draft of the definition is an independent user group is a community of individuals with a commonality, language, region, industry, who regularly discuss one or all OMIMO modules and share their knowledge and experience in that area. If you think about it, it really makes sense that people gather around a commonality in order to share their questions, knowledge, and expertise. A typical commonality is region, like a city, a country, or even a larger geographic unit. And you have even other types of commonalities, like a common language or common industry. And we know already about 5 existing independent user groups. And we wouldn't be shocked to find out there are many more. But in the near future, we really want to make able that users connect to those user groups. And how do we do that? By listing them on the OMIMO website. But in order to have a listing, it's important to follow some guidelines. And today, I will give you some overview of the guidelines. The first guideline is transparency and accountability, because it's important for everybody involved to see who's behind the organization. Second guideline is respect for human rights and non-discrimination. And if I'm correct, I think that's a guideline in the Code of Conduct for trainers and practitioners as well. The next guideline is there should be no discussion of politics and religion. It's all focused on OMIMO, and this means project, program, and portfolio management. And finally, it will be important to have a number of active users before you can get a listing. Those are some rules, but they are not all guidelines. We have other guidelines, but those are not set in stone. They are open for discussions and comments. If you want to find out more about those guidelines, you can scan a QR code on the slide, or just you can type in the web address mentioned on this slide. And I want to stress that it's only for independent user groups who want to have a listing that you need to follow those guidelines. If you're not interested in those guidelines, of course, you can do what you want and you don't need to follow those guidelines. I think as well it's important to say that we will take an initiative to send an invitation to people so they can connect to existing groups or they can join together and create a new group. And it would be really fantastic if you can make sure that those users can create new groups. If you're interested in this, it's important to follow the OMIMO announcements. How do you do that? That's by email, RSS, or using LinkedIn. That was it for me. Back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Alexander. Independent user groups are a great way to anchor the enthusiasm of our community closer to home, helping to streamline efforts and bring the global OMIMO spirit into local projects. I've just heard from our technical team that a lot of you currently are looking and listening with the Zoom app or the Zoom browser. However, if you would like to participate actively and participate in the breakout rooms, we would suggest you to move to LinkedIn Live or use the Zoom app instead of the browser. Otherwise, you will not be able to go further on as a spectator or to participate in the breakout rooms. Just a small reminder to use the LinkedIn Live or the Zoom app. Now, we discussed the history of our community. We celebrated the successes we achieved, and now we are turning towards the road ahead. We have some very exciting news to share. As we discussed before, the European Union, through the Erasmus Plus program, facilitated the expansion of P3 Express, which, as we know, became the foundation of this incredible community. Given the success of P3 Express and the increasing importance the European Commission places on project management and skills development, we are thrilled to announce that the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union has offered a new funding to support the whole OMIMO family. This support will allow us to continue expanding our efforts and strengthen our impact. To provide us with more details on this funding and what it means for OMIMO, we now turn to an interview with Gilles Pijver. She's the director of EPOS, the Belgian agency that manages Erasmus Plus funds. And then we'll also hear Bart Klaas, the project lead for OMIMO at EPOS. Let's hear what they have to say.
Hello, my name is Gilles Pijver and I am the director at EPOS Visitwe. Our biggest role is being the national agency for the Erasmus Plus funding for education, training and sport in Flanders.
I'm Bart Klaas. I work here EPOS National Agency in Brussels for the Erasmus project as a consultant for the VET sector. We are very happy that we can announce that OMIMO is now selected again for a new project in 2024.
We really would like to congratulate you with this project. Erasmus Plus is a very important program. It is referred to also as one of the European flagship programs, and of course professional and personal development plays a rather big role in it.
For all participants and applicants in Erasmus project, they know that it is hard to get funded and there is a big competition between projects. So it is very good that we can announce that this project is recognized now.
We think it's important that there is quite enough investment in project management skills. Of course, it is a given as in it's a premise before you start an Erasmus Plus project that you have some basic management skills. But that's not always this easy for everybody to have those kind of skills or to be able to work with already some project management tools that are existing and are often quite complex. So, for that matter, it is indeed very good and very useful that a project like P3 Express developed quite some things and that now OMIMO PM can follow up on the outcomes and the results of the former project in order to bring those project management skills for more people, also those that do not necessarily already have the skills that are required when it comes to project management. Earlier this year, P3 Express has been awarded as a good practice project. When a project is awarded with the good practice label, we are always very happy. It's not only that that it's also referred to as that, as a good practice, an example of good practice on the European websites and tools, but it's also for us. We try to encourage and support all our beneficiaries to have their projects and their project results disseminated as much as possible in order also for other potential beneficiaries and applicants to be inspired to build further on the expertise that has already been developed in, for instance, the P3 project. And for that matter, it's really important for us to also invest in the dissemination of it. To everybody involved in the project, I really want to thank you on the one hand to be such a multipliers for these kind of projects and to have the engagement and the passion to spread the things that have been developed and to spread the priorities and values like social inclusion and diversity further on. We need communities and we need people like you to have a bigger impact for the projects that are funded and are happening under this umbrella of Erasmus+. So thank you very much and good luck.
So that was the first announcement about the new grant from the European Union. It's great news because the grant makes it easier and faster to develop OMIMO modules. And speaking of the developments, the next announcement is about P5 Express. As you probably know, the final versions of P5 Express, the minimalist portfolio management system, was published a couple of months ago. I am glad to announce that the team is working on its standard slides now. It will be similar to the standard slides for P3 Express and Micro P3 Express, a big help for the trainers. It will make it easier to start giving P5 Express courses, and it will also help ensure the courses cover the range of topics necessary for a P5 Express practitioner. As usual, using the slides is not mandatory. Trainers can use them as they are, create a customized version, or use the one that they created of their own. We are hoping that the standard slides can be published by the end of the year. After that, the team will start working on the certification program and exam for P5 Express. Similar to P3 Express, the exam will not be about memorizing, but will be practical and will be based on behavioral and analytical scenarios. The certificate validation will be the same as that of P3 Express. The certificate will be valid for life, but always connected to the year it was issued. Practitioners who have the certificate of a certain year will receive a free exam voucher to take to the next year exam and will have also a new certificate. Finally, there will be also an accreditation program for trainers. Anyone is allowed to give courses about P5 Express, just like any other OMIMO module, because every module is freedom respecting. But there is also an option to become accredited, which is about ensuring that the trainer has the minimum level of quality for giving practical courses and is, of course, free of charge. The trainer accreditation process existed for P3 Express for a long time, and the one for P5 Express will be added soon. Okay, that was it for the second announcement. After these two exciting announcements, it's now time to look even further into the future. And this is where you come in. We are about to enter one of the most important parts of today's event, the Open Forum, where you get to shape the next steps for OMIMO. But first, Parisa Golshan will explain the OMIMO modules, giving us an overview of what we've already built together and what may come in the future. Then, we will split into breakout rooms, while LinkedIn Live participants can share their views as comments in the event page. This is your chance to directly influence the future of our community. So let's dive in with the presentation of Parisa.
Thank you, Sar. Hello, everyone. Where's the slide? Okay, here is the slide. You may remember this timeline diagram from the previous presentation. Now, if we remove various versions, we will be left with 4 modules, which can be organized in a multi-layer diagram like this. This multi-level model is called project ecosystem, which is a topic for OMIMO. Outside of this, there are other operational management layers as well. So let's look at this model. The highest level is portfolio management, layer 5. Portfolio management is about selecting the best programs and projects for your organization, giving them priority, and balancing investments among the ongoing ones. And here is where OMIMO have a module, which is P5 Express. The next layer is program management. In organizations, sometimes we have multiple projects, and they help each other to reach to a goal. To make this happen, in addition to project management, we need a higher level, which is program management. OMIMO defined a module named P4 Express, which will be released soon for this layer. The next layer is project management, and this is where OMIMO started its mission and has 3 modules: P3 Express, Micro P3 Express, and Noob. P3 Express is for small, medium, and large-size projects, but not for micro or mega-size projects. Micro P3 Express is a flavor of P3 Express. It is designed for environments that there are approximately 1 to 7 people working in the project, and there can be even no experience or dedicated project management there. Noob stands for Nearly Universal Principles of Projects. It's clear from its name, it's a set of principles that can help you to reinterpret any project management system in a more efficient and practical way. Until now, we talked about 3 layers, which are common in different resources. But OMIMO has 2 more layers and defined 2 more layers beneath these 3. The first one, which is the second layer in here, is technical management. It's a system for team leaders who have managerial responsibilities beside the technical ones. And OMIMO defined P2 Express module for it, which will be released soon. The last layer, or the first level, is personal task management. Also here, OMIMO defined a module, which is P1 Express, and it will be released soon. And it's for individuals who are interested in managing their own task and preferably their own project. These modules that I talked about are all horizontal modules. Beside them, there are vertical modules which cross these layers. And the community has suggested many of them, including contract management, critical thinking, conflict resolution, motivation, and facilitation. There can be many of these modules, depending on where there is a lack of structural resources in people who are involved in a project ecosystem. Okay, I gave you an explanation of the modules, and now I have 2 questions. What other modules do you think OMIMO should have? Which elements should OMIMO have in each module? By elements, I mean we have some existing elements like interactive courses, standard slides, and manuals. Do you think we need more elements or not? Okay, I'm finished with my presentation. Now you are listening and watching this program. A group of you are watching it streaming on LinkedIn. So for the next 30 minutes, you will listen to 3 presentations from 3 open source software companies. And please enjoy these presentations. And beside that, leave your comments and ideas in the comment part of the live event. The other group of you will join us in a teleconference application. So for the next 30 minutes, you will be divided into groups. You will have 2 rounds of workshops with a facilitator, and you will come up with ideas. Then after these 30 minutes, we will gather all the ideas and summarize them and get back to you. Thank you for listening. Until then.
Thank you, Parisa. As our active participants head into their breakout rooms to discuss the modules, this is a great opportunity for those of you watching as spectators on LinkedIn Live to reflect on these important topics as well. Over the next half an hour, take a moment to consider the ideas and directions being discussed and share your feedback with us. Simply leave your comments or suggestions under the live stream where you are watching. Your insights are very valuable in helping shaping the future of OMIMO, and we are eager to hear from you. So let's make this a true community effort. Jump into the comments and in the comment room discussions and let us know what you think. As our active participants dive into their breakout rooms, we'll take this opportunity to hear from 3 open source projects that offer software that might be useful for you in managing your projects. First up, we have Nextcloud, a leading open source platform for file hosting and collaboration. Joining us is Frank Karliczek, CEO and founder of Nextcloud, who will give us a closer look at their mission and their software. Frank is joining us remotely from Germany. Frank, over to you.
Thanks a lot. A really big thanks to this invitation to have the opportunity to present Nextcloud here, and of course, congratulations to all your very important achievements that you did. But now a little bit about Nextcloud. So first, let's start with why I founded Nextcloud. The idea was and still is that we need to have an alternative to these big tech companies. But Nextcloud is an alternative to Microsoft 365, to Google Workspace, to Slack, to Zoom that we are unfortunately using here. We have to fix this for next time, and all these other SaaS companies out of the cloud. Nextcloud has these 4 main components: Nextcloud Files for files you can share, Talk for chat and video conferencing, Groupware for mail, calendar, and contacts, and Office for office documents. The main difference between Nextcloud and all these other companies I just mentioned is that Nextcloud is completely open source. We are the only full alternative which is completely open source and can run on premise, which means you can really install it wherever you want. And this also means that your data stores under where you want it to be and also under the control that you decide. So it's all about security, it's about privacy, and all the important other aspects, the digital sovereignty, for example. So let me go through the functionality a bit. I have to be very fast because it's only 10 minutes, so excuse me for that. Let's start with Nextcloud Files. Nextcloud Files is the core component. You can upload and download your documents, your files. You can share it with others. You can have group folders. You have search, tagging, deletion, undeletion, all the file management features you expect from a modern solution. And I can really say that we are the leading product here. I think we are also better than the proprietary alternatives that I just mentioned here. Second component, as I just mentioned, is Nextcloud Talk. Talk is something like a Microsoft Teams alternative. So it's a group chat, one-on-one chat, but also a way to do video calling. And there's also a mobile app, so you can do everything on the phone. So it's a full collaboration, communication product, which is quite powerful and fully integrated into the rest, of course. You can just press a button and it turns into a video call. And on the left side, you see a screenshot from our mobile app. So as I said, you get a notification if someone calls you. You can do a video calling, screen sharing, also everything from your tablet and your phone. If you want to, it's quite a powerful tool. Then there is, of course, the groupware component where we have a calendar, which all usual features like shared calendars, free busy support, automated intelligent invitation system, and lots of other features that you expect. There's a mail client, very similar to Outlook or to Gmail. This also has advanced features like encryption of your mails, which the other solutions don't, so that don't respect your privacy. And you also like nice convenient features like automatic unsubscribing for newsletters and many other nice powerful tools. And then the last main component is, of course, Office, Nextcloud Office. This is a solution we do together with our partners from Collabra. So you can do collaborative editing of Word documents, Excel presentations, all kinds of documents, as I said, collaboratively together in the browser with other people. And you can also combine it, right? You can have a video call and a chat and working on documents together with your colleagues. So it's quite a powerful solution here. Next component is very new. That's actually something we launched just a few weeks ago. It's our new whiteboard. So it's also a very powerful collaborative whiteboard. Again, several people together with different cursors can do different things and supports all the usual features you expect from a powerful whiteboard. Next feature I want to show you is a quite interesting one. This is called Nextcloud Tables. This is a nice way where you, in a graphical way in the web browser, you can build apps for Nextcloud. For example, if you want to have a management system to organize, who's cleaning up the kitchen in your office, or if you want to organize, collect presents for your Christmas party, all kinds of things, you can really build and create some interesting applications there. So this is a quite powerful tool. Another thing, which is, I think, even bigger, this is also a very brand new thing that we just launched a few weeks ago, is Nextcloud Flow. This is a fully automated workflow tool. In a graphical way, in the browser, you can configure workflows. For example, if a document is coming in by email in this kind of format, it's automatically parsed, it's automatically put in Nextcloud tables. Maybe there's a confirmation sent out. Maybe there's an automatic check if the data is complete. Maybe there's a payment process started. So you can really completely automate business processes in your organization. So it's quite powerful and can fully replace solutions like SharePoint and other applications. Now I want to use the rest of my time to talk about something that is especially important for us, and this is our AI initiative. So this is what we call the Nextcloud Assistant. I'm very, very proud that we're the only collaboration solution in the world, I think, that has this nice open source on-premise solution, but it also has its own AI assistant, which is using a large language model. It's 100% open source and it completely runs on your computer. If you use all the other AI systems from OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, and so on, all your data goes to them. We're the only solution where you can keep your data to yourself and still have the powerful AI features. It starts with some basic things. For example, it can recommend resources to you. You can do dictation. It can give face and object recognition, your photos, and many other things. But I think the more advanced features are a lot more interesting, where you really interact with a full interactive assistant. The first is, of course, a chat interface. As you know it from ChatGPT, you can, of course, chat with your assistant. But to be honest, the most interesting part is the integration into the rest of Nextcloud. Let me show you some examples. The first example is an integration in text or in Office. So let's say you have an Office document, like a text document, you're writing a letter or something. You can just open the document. Then you see a document, you can just mark any text, then on the right side, the assistant pops up and you can say, summarize it, formalize it, generate a headline, make it a text longer or shorter, all kinds of actions. It processes the data, in this case, generating a headline, and you can just copy it and insert it. And you don't really have to copy your data to ChatGPT back and forward, which again would leak your data. But this is fully integrated into all of Nextcloud. So everywhere you type in the text, the assistant is also available. Let's look into Mail. As I said, Mail is our mail client, where we also have lots of integrations with the Nextcloud Assistant. For example, on the left side, you can see the priority inbox. It detects what is important for you. In the latest version, it can also detect which emails require follow-up. It passes your emails and shows you, oh, you really should answer this mail. This sounds like a question to you. And there also is a feature to summarize email threads. On the right side, you, for example, see a summary of email threads. If you get too many emails, as I do, it's very useful to just look at a summary and you immediately know what's going on. But this is super useful, for example, if you come back from vacation and you're just overwhelmed with your inbox. Then obviously you can use the assistant to write emails for you. This is something that is quite useful, and it can also suggest answers to you. For example, it can understand your emails and it can propose an answer. Maybe you want to answer this to this email or something else, and it's just very, very useful. Then let's go into Nextcloud Talk, our chat and video conferencing solution. We at Nextcloud have an international team. We actually have employees in 24 countries. So for us, it's really crucial to communicate in different languages, and we have built a translation system directly into chat. So you get your chat messages automatically translated in your language if you want to have it. That's a super useful feature. Then maybe you have a discussion where you want to visualize something. So of course we integrated image generation. In this case, just some cats. I think every IT presentation needs a cat. So here you have the nice cat, of course. But you can obviously visualize all kinds of things and just automatically post it in your chat message. Again, everything stays on your machine. Everything stays local. Then let's say you're in the middle of a brainstorming session and you just have a question and you want to ask the assistant, for example, hey, what are the most important things to organize an event like this event here? And it just immediately can say, hey, assistant, question, and then the assistant bot answers back to you and gives you the information. And this is invisible for everybody. It's just like a real human assistant, but it's an AI assistant that is completely open source and runs on your server. Then there's also the challenge with summarizing. So maybe you also come back from vacation and you just have tons of messages and you can say, hey, just give me the summary, what happened in this chat room since last week. And you can summarize everything. And that's, of course, super useful. Then in part of every video call, if you want to have an audio call, the assistant can do a recording, obviously, and it can also transcribe a transcript of all the conversation, and it can also summarize. So, for example, after the call, everybody gets a summary what was discussed in the video call. That's super, super useful. So now I'm coming to the end, and I want to talk about one specific feature where I'm really proud of, because this doesn't exist somewhere else. This assistant also has a feature called context chat, where the assistant knows all my data on my own server. For example, I can ask the assistant, hey, what is the situation with this customer? And the assistant goes through all my emails and can give you the answer, what's going on. Or you can go into the project management tool Nextcloud Deck and say, hey, what is important to organize the Christmas party? And it just goes through all the tickets and gives you a summary, what is usually important to organize some kind of event. And this is the same for all chat messages, for all documents. It basically has all the information that is in Nextcloud, and you can query it like a real assistant who just knows everything that's going on in your organization. And that's a quite nice and unique, powerful tool that doesn't really exist somewhere else. Which brings me to the end. I'm really happy that Nextcloud is this collaboration tool, which can really fully replace Microsoft, Google, and all the others. But of course, the data stays on your server. So thanks a lot for your time, and I hope I was fast enough, and enjoy the rest of the event. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Frank, for this interesting presentation. Next, we have another fantastic organization to introduce. XWiki, an open source wiki platform for collaborative knowledge management. Joining us to provide insights into XWiki's contributions is Stefana Nazare, product manager at XWiki, who is joining us remotely from Romania.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for inviting us today, and congratulations for all your work and this great event. So as introduced, I'm Stefana from XWiki. I've been here for 7 years in a few areas. I'm currently managing the development of apps and cloud. And today I'm going to, as quickly as possible, present some of the ways in which our tool can help you manage your, can help you achieve your project management goals and also your knowledge management goals, because in the end, the two go very well hand in hand. So first, actually, a few words about the company. So XWiki is an open source product developed by the XWiki SS company, which has been around for 20 years. We are about 70 people in the company. We have plenty of people working remote, but also 2 offices in Iași, Romania and Paris, France. And aside from the XWiki product, we work on other products and research and development projects. And as part of the company, we offer plenty of services for all the clients that want to use our tool with dedicated services, depending, of course, on their needs. And about the services precisely, if you would choose to use XWiki, you can benefit from everything from installation and authentication setup to consulting, custom development, and then, of course, long-term technical support once your product is in the production mode, to say so, your wiki is in production mode. More than the services that we offer, we also offer a lot of ways to extend your XWiki instance and integrate it with other systems that you use. We offer integrations with commonly used systems such as Jira and Office 365, but also we try to develop more and more integrations with open source tools such as OpenProject. Now, to look at the product itself, here we have a standard instance of XWiki. We have some panels on the left and right that can be customized. We can see in the navigation panel that we have some hierarchy, so pages can be organized in this manner. We have here a demo page with just some standard content, images, and a diagram. And what I wanted to show here is that you can also control very well the versions of the pages. You can roll back, see the differences between multiple versions of a page, compare them, and then decide if you want to roll back any changes. You can see the changes that were done on a page in a context. And you can also see, of course, who has been working on that specific page. Now to see this page in edit mode, so right now we see it in view mode, and then if we are to edit, we can see that we have this kind of in-place editing mode, one of the multiple edit modes available, but also we can edit in real time. We can see here that the user is editing the first subparagraph, and we can see their icon in that section. You can do everything that you can expect to insert images, multiple elements. You can choose images from other pages. So all these standard editing features are certainly there to create the pages that you need for your project and your knowledge base. Then to categorize the pages, because usually in documentation that's very important, you can use tags, and by clicking on a tag, you can see the pages that are tagged with that tag and also the activity stream for that specific tag. But you can also search pages using our powerful Solr search. You can search the term not only in the title, but also in content and attachments. You can see where that string that you searched for was found when you run the main search, and you can also refine it based on the multiple filters that are available. Now, after of course seeing all this knowledge management part, maybe it's important to see some task management tools as well. So we have a fairly recent task management application that allows you to create tasks either as a to-do list, but also as kind of a task with a main task page, as we see right here. So you can create a task and assign certain things like a priority, status, project, and so on. And of course, you can collaborate on these tasks, and all across the instance, but we see that it's very common when kind of trying to do a to-do list, like please update this documentation section to be able to properly link to that page and also mention the user that would need to be assigned. In the comments, we saw that we tagged user 1, so now we see their perspective. We see that they have received a notification because they were tagged on that task. So we can see right here their mention, and they can go to that task, respond in any way that is needed, and then achieve the work that was handled there. So here the user one is responding, and then back to the initial user's view, we will see their response. Aside from task management, we have many more applications that can come in handy for project management and documentation. One of them is meetings. You can create meetings for your team. For example, here we have a roadmap meeting that was created to take place somewhere in the future. You can add also multiple types of metadata and meeting notes, description, and so far. You can also create a poll if that's needed, where users can vote before the meeting or during the meeting. So you can have some input from this area as well. Aside from meetings, we also see that the common need is creating diagrams. So you can create diagrams for multiple use cases, such as maybe a visual representation of a process, or mock-ups for a client, or any sort of, to kind of describe a flow of steps that need to take place, organizational charts, and so on. If you need to track the activity on your wiki, you can do so with the analytics integration, which is actually an integration with Matomo. So you can integrate your XWiki instance with a Matomo instance, but you can see the results from Matomo in your XWiki instance, and you can filter the results within your XWiki instance. So this means that anyone can see the results if they are not in the Matomo instance, they are not on the Matomo website. Now moving into administration. You can administer a lot of things for XWiki. It's really, you can configure it to be anything that you need. One of the most important things, of course, is to configure users and rights. So you can very finely grain the permission system. You can decide to use any authentication system that you need, like LDAP, SSO, whatever you already use in your organization. You can install other extensions. So we actually have more than 900 extensions that you can choose from to install and basically tailor your instance perfectly to your needs. You can customize the look and feel, such as changing the panels, the colors. You can do a lot of customization to make your wiki really feel like your own and make it more make it match with your visual identity of the company. And many other administration features are available, such as the social part, handling likes, mentions, standard editing modes, and so forth. Now, you can try the product yourself for free at try.xwiki.com. You can try it in a cloud demo, or you can download XWiki on your premise. If you'd like to see the full documentation, please go to the documentation. Oh, sorry. If you'd like to see the full documentation, go to the documentation website at xwiki.org, and feel free to contact us for any inquiry at contact@xwiki.com. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you, Stefana. I do have one question for you, though. Is it a good idea to use XWiki to store the lessons learned in a P3 Express project?
Yes, I would say that's a great idea. XWiki is perfect for storing any sort of information that needs to be further shared or updated. So for any documentation or knowledge sharing, knowledge capturing and sharing, I would say XWiki is really an ideal product to use.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you again. Next, we have Open Project, a powerful open source project management platform. We're excited to have Parimal Satyal, Senior UX Designer, joining us to present his organization and share how Open Project helps to drive collaboration and also transparency in project management. Parimal is joining us remotely as well. The floor is yours. Can you unmute yourself? Because at this moment we don't
I think you can hear me now. Sorry about that. Hi everybody, thank you, Sarah, for that introduction, and I would like to also thank OMIMO for giving us the chance to be present here. It's very exciting to see the development of all the modules. So my name is Parimal. I'm the user experience designer at Open Project. And my goal today is to give you a very quick overview of what Open Project is and what our ambitions are with Open Project. So if I had to describe Open Project in one sentence, it would really be an easy, secure, open source software to collaborate and manage your projects. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the details of what project management consists of, because I believe this audience is particularly well versed in that. But as a designer, it's also very important for me to focus on the fact that behind every project, you've got people who are trying to work together towards a common goal. So that collaboration aspect is also very important to us. Now, of course, Open Project supports classic, agile, and hybrid project management. So all the things you've come to expect: project portfolio management, issue tracking, agile, Kanban, Scrum, all of that. Unfortunately, I can't show you all of that, but I'd like to focus on the last point there, product development. And that's because one of the companies that uses Open Project is Open Project. So we're 100% remote company. I'm in Berlin. Some of my colleagues are in Athens. Some are in other parts of Germany. And so we've got to organize our work somehow. And I thought to demo this, our software, I just show you screenshots of how we use the tool ourselves. So all the screenshots you'll be seeing next, till I talk about future development, are real data from our community instance that's available and visible publicly. So let's focus on this. This is what it looks like. This is like the overall top-down view of Open Project. If you look to the left, what you're seeing are saved views. So within a project, we have a stream called Planning and Reporting. So we've saved these views so that all stream members and all community members have the same view. And we know that if you go there, everybody's seeing the same thing. We set this up in a number of different ways. So we called it Planning and Reporting. We've included a number of different projects. So one other project, apart from the one that's already there, because sometimes project structures can be quite dynamic. There's a baseline feature. So this is also showing changes to this view since the last week, because we have our product weeklies. So it helps us see what's changed. And we've also added a filter, so you only see bugs, features, and epics that are open, for example. Now, if you go to the actual list, it's grouped by version. So 15.0, 15.1, the wish list. So we get a quick sense of where we are and what's planned for the next two versions. I'd like to, and of course, you can see with those little sort of triangular icons in blue, which of those work packages has actually changed. So I can get all that context in one view. And everybody gets this context because that's a saved public view. I'd like to focus on this particular feature, the scheduling mode. We see that there's some further changes. The title has changed, and it's gone from in specification to specified. I should know because I did it yesterday. So this allows us to also communicate small sort of intricate details in a larger view. If I go in and try to sort of go to the details of this feature, of course, we have the product specification, of course, but I'd like us to focus on the right side. This is where I'm talking to two of my colleagues, Jens and Christoph, about some open questions we had. So if I mention Jens like that, or Christoph, they will get a notification. You might have noticed that there's on the top right, there's a badge that says 11. So that's how we know that someone's solicited our attention. And you get all sorts of updates to the work package itself as well. Now, of course, you can collaborate on this, but you also get updates to the work package. Sometimes, though, we work openly, so of course everybody has access to our discussions, but sometimes in some projects you don't want to give access to everybody. Open Project has very fine-grained permissions management, but sometimes you just want to share the work package with an email address and say, well, this person should only be able to view it, comment on it, or maybe even edit it, right? So we allow that sort of per work package permission management as well, and that's a fairly new feature. We have a Gantt view, of course. We use it for our release planning, as you can see. And some of our customers have really, really complex projects where they have complex relations as well, and that's possible. The other thing I want to sort of focus on is Frank talked about Nextcloud. We also have an integration with Nextcloud. So part of our goal is to reduce duplication. So if you go to the Files tab, you'll see that there's a little a Nextcloud integration. We also have this with SharePoint, for example. And that file that you see here, although it's attached to a work package, actually lives in Nextcloud. So if I click on Link Existing Files, it looks like I'm an open project, but really I'm navigating within Nextcloud. And so that if I make changes to that file, or if I update a new version of the file, I can be sure that anyone accessing that work package has the correct version. So these are sort of things that we think will really help your teams spend less time repeating information and communicating properly. Now we're obviously constantly improving, and one of the focuses for us as a UX team, user experience team, is to conduct more user research. We know that sometimes we release something, it's not exactly it might sometimes be correct from a project management standpoint, but sometimes users aren't happy with it. It's too prescriptive. So we listen to them, and I'd like to give you a sense of some of the new things we're working on. Improved automatic scheduling. Also have to mention Nader from P3 Express, who was very helpful and gave us we thank him for his expertise and his time in helping us design this feature. So that'll be coming very soon. Single sign-on also. That doesn't require bidirectional OAuth flows. So this is OpenID Connect, for example. And we have existing integrations with Nextcloud, GitHub, and GitLab. We use Nextcloud and GitHub internally as well. And we're hoping, and we're going to work on an integration with XWiki as well. So the product that Stefana presented just a while back. We're very excited about that. Project portfolio, stages and gates. And of course, we've got a mobile app in the works. And I'd like to end the presentation by saying that this ethos of public money, public code is very important to us, because we believe that proprietary software creates high barrier for team collaboration. And of course, we have got a challenge around digital sovereignty. So recently, we've got good movement in France and Germany. There was a signature of a declaration of common intent to strengthen digital sovereignty of public administration in the two countries. And this is something that's very important to us, to decrease dependency on big tech, like Frank also mentioned. So this can lead us to more control, more privacy, and more security for our users and also our public administrators. So that was my presentation. Sorry if I spoke rather quickly. And if you want more information, you can go to openproject.org. Thank you, and back to you, Sar.
Thank you, Parimal. I do have a couple of questions actually for you, if you have the time. I was wondering, Absolutely. Is there a custom version of Open Project for projects that use P3 Express?
So we don't have project templates yet, but this is something that is in our roadmap, but we don't have it at the moment.
Okay. And then how long does it take one to learn Open Project and use it in their projects? Are there books or courses about it?
So that's a very interesting question. It depends on your familiarity with project management and also Open Project. I think the best way to know this is to just start a test instance for free on our website and just see how comfortable you are with it. And of course, we have training programs that we can also offer as well.
Okay, thank you. And then I was also wondering, what are your plans for the future?
Our plans for Open Project or my personal plans? Well,
I mean Open Project, of course.
Of course. No, our plans work on more integrations. That's important to us. As a UX designer, we're also trying to listen to feedback more closely. And we have a focus on project portfolio management as well. This is something that we can definitely improve on, and that's also in our roadmap. I'd also like to mention that you can view our roadmap on our website, and it's all public. And if you'd like to get involved, join our community, community.openproject.org, and you can give us feature requests and also contribute to our developments.
Thank you for that info, Parimal. And thank you so much for your interesting presentation as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Nextcloud, XWiki, and Open Project for sharing their insights and showing how their open source platforms can be used in managing projects. Now, we are excited to welcome everyone back from the breakout rooms. I hope your discussions were productive and insightful. And of course, welcome back to the stage, Parisa,
Hello,
who will
Sarah.
join me as we go over the key points from the breakout sessions.
Okay.
We've also gathered some summaries from each breakout room. And while a more detailed written summary will be available on the OMIMO website in the coming weeks, we are here already to share a brief overview of what was discussed. So let's dive in and take a look at the ideas and feedback that came from all of you. The first suggested module that I received was a version of P5 Express customized for not-for-profit organizations.
Okay. The one that I have is a long one, actually, so I'm going to read it for you. One comments concerning the modules that OMIMO should develop and elements these models should have. So there should be an interface between operations management and project management. The way P2 Express was presented, it looks like this is in where this interface could happen. This interface could answer questions such as, how should a manager that is also a part-time project manager prioritize between operations and project tasks? It was a long one.
That's a big suggestion, a good one to take into account.
Thank you.
Another one that was sent to us was also a module about the integrated managing of the well-being of people involved in projects, programs, and portfolios. Parisa?
Okay. Now I have some comments about horizontal modules. I will read the first one first.
Okay.
Micro team org change management. A simplified change management module aimed at middle management, large 2 or 3, focusing on practical, small-scale changes that align with broader strategic goals.
That's also a good one. My third one was a module about the continuous professional development of people involved in projects, programs, and portfolios.
Okay. The next one for me is again about horizontal module. Lean process optimization. Designed for for layer 2, this module introduces lean principles for process improvement, providing hands-on tools for streaming operations.
Wow. I have one about a module about creative thinking and innovation across projects, programs, and portfolios.
Okay. I have another one about horizontal modules.
Wow.
Innovation hubs. A module for layer 5 focusing on establishing innovation concerns within organizations. It covers the strategies, tools, and culture needed to foster innovation thinking at the strategic level.
And the last one that I have is a module about sustainability, about across projects, programs, and portfolios.
I have plenty
of other ones left.
Well,
you can pick another one too if you want.
I will pick another one. A guide for the implementation of each method. Should I read more?
Well, go ahead. You can have one or two more.
Okay. Project planning, a separate module from pre-3. Another one, interactive courses like Art2Feel for other type of projects.
Wow,
Should
great.
we stop or go more?
I think we can stop here. Thank you, Parisa.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Parisa, for that insightful summary of the breakout room discussions. And also to the team behind the scenes, because they are processing all of these breakout rooms. It's clear that our community has a wealth of ideas and suggestions for the future of OMIMO, and that we are excited to dive deeper into those insights. Now, a moment that we have all been waiting for, open forum Q&A session. We'll be addressing some of the questions and suggestions raised during the webinar, as well as those collected beforehand. Rest assured, we will do our best to answer as many questions as we can in this live session. Any questions that we don't get will be answered in writing and made available on our website, like I mentioned in the very beginning. We encourage you, though, to continue to share your thoughts. You can submit your questions, and we continue with this section. Let's engage in an open dialogue to explore these important topics together. And therefore, I have here Nader and Keirat with me, who is a core team member of OMIMO. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Nader, I hope you are ready, because we have received a lot of questions and ideas, and we are planning to get the most of them answered in 25 minutes.
That's great.
First of all, I received a question from Canada. There are a lot of modules that are about projects, programs, and portfolios. However, they will not be successful without a proper operations. So why don't you work on creating methods for operations?
Well, there are a lot of things involved when we want to create value, create results. Here we are focused on the project ecosystem, the project management, program management, portfolio management. But there are a lot of them. There's operations, as was said there. But even more than that, it would be a little bit difficult to do everything. So at least for the next 20 years or something, I think it's better for OMIMO to focus on one area, which is project ecosystem. But let's see what happens in the future.
Clear. Thank you, Nader. Question from Italy then. Will OMIMO develop minimalistic project management software?
Again, that goes back to doing too many things, because if you want to cover everything, you probably fail in doing most of those. You're lower quality. It's a better idea for us to focus on what we can do best and leave other things to other people. We have run experiments with software to check certain ideas. We don't have plans to take it seriously. I think it's best for other people who are focused on software to do that. And then if they need any support from OMIMO, the core team will be happy to help them to create software that is minimalist and aligned with P3 Express or other modules.
Thank you for that, Nader. We also received a question from Spain, actually. Is it a good idea to combine Scrum and P3 Express? And if so, will there be an official guide on how to do it?
I've actually heard that a lot. So there are many people who are using something and they think about combining that with P3 Express instead of doing P3 Express from scratch. It is possible with a lot of things, but sometimes very difficult. It depends on what you already have. When you think about the Scrum, it has elements in the management layer. When you think about those 5 layers, Scrum has a few things in the 3rd layer, and P3 Express is also in the 3rd layer. So the part that we have that overlap, that has a lot of potential for creating problems. A very simple problem is that P3 Express has a centralized project management system with a project manager, but the Scrum has a decentralized management system without a project manager. So how do you want to make them compatible? For those who have something like Scrum and they want to upgrade their system to scale it up and make it more inclusive of the project management concerns, the best idea, in my opinion, is to move from Scrum into what's normally called Kanban development. Because Kanban development is something that is completely in the 2nd layer in those 5. And then there won't be any conflict with P3 Express, and they can easily combine it with P3 Express. So that's the first part. Okay. This one is long. The second part was about an official guide. There was this idea, I heard it from someone a few days ago, about having guides on implementation of P3 Express and other modules. That's an interesting topic. And if we ever go toward doing that, there can be one guide for implementing P3 Express from scratch in an organization that doesn't have anything else. And then there can be more guides for people who are already, for example, familiar with the PMBOK guide. People who used to use Prince2 or Scrum or Kanban development, DSTM, anything else. How can you combine them or transition from one to the other? So yes, that can be a really good idea, but I don't know when we can reach that point. It will take time.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, building on that a bit further is a question that came from Ireland, not focusing on P3, but on P5 Express. Can you use that to manage a portfolio of Scrum projects?
Yes, it's designed very carefully to be modular. There was that presentation at the beginning about the three main characteristics in OMIMO. One is that they are all minimalist. The other is that they are open, libre, non-proprietary. And the third one is that they are modular, meaning that you can mix and match them in any way you want. So, for example, when you're using P5 Express for your portfolio, you don't have to use P3 Express or Micro P3 Express. You can use Scrum, Prince2, the PMBOK guide, or anything else in your third layer. It is consciously and carefully designed to work well with all those systems. Because if you don't do that, you're limiting your users. And limiting users is against the freedoms that we want the users to have. So that would be against the values.
Yeah, that's part of your core values, I understand. Yeah. Another question came from the USA. Is P3 Express compatible with the PMBOK guide? Is it possible to adopt P3 Express in an organization that already uses this PMBOK guide?
So, before when we had the question about the Scrum, I said that Scrum has a little bit in the third layer and that has the potential to conflict with P3 Express. The PMBOK guide and P3 Express are both completely in the third layer. Yeah. However, there's not a lot of potential for conflict because the PMBOK guide is a guide. It's a tool set. It's a combination of different ideas on how you can improve your project management system. But P3 Express is not like that. P3 Express is a roadmap. It's a way of running the projects. And these two can always help each other. So you can have P3 Express as your methodology and then use the PMBOK guide to enrich that methodology, or any other guide like the PMBOK guide. Yeah, that's okay. And that's a very natural way of gradually improving your system. However, it's always a good idea to start simple. Yeah. Without adding too much. Yeah. It's supposed to be minimalist.
Then from the Netherlands, given that P3 Express is funded by the European Commission and that PM² also belongs to the European Commission, is there a plan to merge these two into one?
I've also heard it 2 or 3 times before. No, there's no plan, and I think that would be horrible to do because people need to have more options, not fewer options. It's really authoritarian to think that there should be one system for everyone to rule all the projects. It has so many problems, I don't know where to start. We don't even have enough options right now. We encourage other people to come up with new ways of doing projects. If we can, we will support them, we will help them, but we won't become fewer.
Clear. Thank you, Nader. Question from Serbia. How should one select between P3 Express and Scrum?
So, Scrum does not cover all the project management concerns. It's something that is mainly about how you develop your product. So most of it is in the second layer and a little bit of it is in the third layer. However, that part that is in the third layer has caused people to consider it enough for project management, which is really not the case. So people who are using a Scrum run into some difficulties, and sometimes that's why they are looking for something else. P3 Express is minimalist in that it's similar to Scrum. Scrum is also minimalist, But Scrum gives you a lot about how to develop your product. P3 Express does not do that. Leaves that to you. You can use other resources. You can use, I don't know, extreme programming, Kanban development, and so on for that part. But the biggest difference is that P3 Express has a complete project management system, complete layer 3, but you don't have the complete layer 3 in a Scrum.
Thank you, Nader. We have a lot of questions actually coming in, and the next one is from South Africa. So what is the difference between PMP and P3 Express?
PMP is the name of a certification program, and P3 Express is the name of a method, a way of running projects. So it's very difficult to compare them. However, PMP has its own syllabus, and it comes from PMI, which also has the PMBOK guide. But the PMBOK guide is not everything we have in the PMP syllabus. The syllabus goes a little bit beyond that. It gives people a really big set of information, general information, different models and techniques they need for managing projects. In that sense, it's very different from P3 Express in that in P3 Express, we have a path throughout the project. When someone learns P3 Express, they know what to do when they go back to work. But when they learn the PMP syllabus or the PMBOK guide, they don't know what to do next because that's not the subject in PMP or the PMBOK guide. That's the big difference. The idea is that you implement and run a methodology and then use the information in the PMBOK guide or the syllabus for the PMP exam to enrich the methodology that you have. For example, P3 Express, or it can be DSTM, Prince2, or anything else.
Okay, that's a clear difference. Thank you for that. Somebody from the UK. I'm open to trying new methods, but our contracts always require Prince2. Do you have any suggestions?
You know, many years ago, we had a contract, and in the contract, they said that you should use the PMBOK guide to run your projects. And then they came to audit our project. The person who came and started asking questions, so where's this document? Where's that document? And then there was this part where I showed them the same document twice in answering different questions. And he said, no, you gave me that before. And I said, well, it covers both of those, as well as 3 other concepts in the PMBOK guide. I said, no, but they are different documents in the PMBOK guide. The PMBOK guide doesn't say that you need to have different documents. It says that you need to have those concepts. How you want to have those concepts, it's up to you. Maybe you want to merge them into one document. That's absolutely fine. So if you have people like that who don't really understand what the PMBOK guide or Prince2 is, you will have a lot of problems. I don't have any advice for that. But those who understand it, you always have the option to present P3 Express without naming P3 Express and saying that it's your way of tailoring Prince2. I think you can justify it. I know 1 or 2 people who've done it.
Okay, so they will not be the first.
You can also do that if you have the PMBOK guide in the contract, because they are compatible with each other.
Okay, good. Let's hope the person from the UK is satisfied with your answer. Somebody from France. We've experienced serious problems with major project management institutes in the past couple of years. So how do we know that we can trust OMIMO to stay open and nice in the future and won't become a monster after gaining traction? Quite a question.
Okay, yeah. So this is important. P3 Express comes with a Creative Commons license, Creative Commons attribution. It's not only a simple statement when we say it's open and non-proprietary. It comes with a big license, and the reason for it is to cover all of these concerns. It's a not-for-profit organization, I think, Creative Commons. They create these licenses to make sure that they work well. And one aspect is that when you give the rights, you cannot get them back. You cannot revoke those rights. So, for example, OMIMO cannot say that, okay, it's free, you can use it, you have all the rights that you want, and then bring all the people to start using it, and after 2 years come back and say, from now on, it's not free.
Yeah.
It's legally not possible. It's been all covered in the license. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that because of that, people always have the option to detach from the core team who runs OMIMO if they do crazy things and do it themselves. That's where we have the guarantee. And that's the same guarantee that we have with open source software. If the people who are running an open source software project become weird, others can fork it and start a new project. We have many examples of that. I don't want to name anything because I used bad words before, but there are many of them. That's the guarantee that we have in open source and also in Creative Commons.
And that it will not change.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people actually sending in questions, and I still have more than 3 to go. So from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia now, the other type of the world, do you have or will you have any methods from PMOs?
It's been discussed. It's a little bit complicated because what many people who talk about PMOs have in mind is a combination of, for example, program management and portfolio management with a few extra things. In that sense, we are not in favor of that because we believe that things have to be modular. They have to be in different layers. We need to have people with different types of expertise and experience working with those. We are not in favor of combining them into one concept. But when we remove those things that have to be in other layers, there are still a few remaining there. For example, somewhere to support project managers understand how to run their projects in the organization, or how to interface with other departments, or somewhere to just go and ask for any type of help. I think that's a really good type of PMO that we can have. And potentially we can have a module for that in OMIMO, but it's not decided yet.
Okay. I have a lot of questions coming in. So the next one for you, Nader, is what about a module focusing on project governance, sampling, auditing, etc., related to project deliverables and management methods within OMIMO frameworks?
So I'm thinking out loud. When it comes to governance, we already have a lot of information in different modules. We have some governance aspects in P3 Express, also some in P5 Express. There will be some in P4 Express. Whether or not we need to have a separate module, I don't know. Maybe governance is something we can or we should cover in those modules, because you may want to combine them with something else. For example, have P5 Express with something else. That's a difficult question. Right now, what comes to my mind is that we don't need to have a separate module, but if I have time to think more about it, I may change my mind.
Where we have the summaries for at our OMIMO website, of course, in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you. So do people even know the difference between a guide and a roadmap?
I hope so. Many people mistake it. So, for example, in the PMBOK guide, which is the most famous guide, it's a tool set. It's a set of all the different things you need in project management, but it does not give you a roadmap in your project. It's not a methodology. I think they started from the second edition by adding something into the introduction, telling people that make sure you understand that this is not a methodology, it's a guide. You also need to use a methodology in parallel. But people keep seeing the PMBOK guide as a methodology. They try to use it as a methodology. They talk about implementing the PMBOK guide. That was never the purpose. And it's explained in the introduction. So I would say no, many people don't understand it. And we try to help people understand it a little more. That's it.
Okay. So P3 Express is a roadmap for projects, but I think PEMBOK is more useful for construction projects. Is that right? A question live from the audience.
Okay. The old versions of the PEMBOK guide were really designed with the construction projects in mind. Now, many people will hate me for saying that, but I really think that was the case. But as we came further in the latest versions, more and more information were added about agile projects, about IT development. And in the 7th edition, I was also part of the team. One of the goals was to make it completely neutral. So the 7th edition of the PEMBOK guide is really for every type of project. And the future versions, the plan is to keep it compatible with all types of projects. So that's for the PEMBOK guide. For P3 Express, it's a relatively new system. It's a postmodern system. It has come after a lot of things like the agile waterfall wars. So it is consciously designed to be compatible with both of them, and also wants to combine the good elements we can have from each of them into all types of projects. So in a sense, if you think about the old versions of the PEMBOK guide, they cover a lot more about construction projects, and when you want to improve your P3 Express project, because that's one of the steps, you use it, and after 2 years or 3 years, you want to keep improving it. When you want to improve it, that type of information from the PEMBOK guide, which leans more toward construction projects, will be very helpful to you.
Okay, thank you. We have many, many questions coming in, so our technical team is selecting them back. But one that I still have on my card here is, what will P2 Express look like?
I'm not sure, but one idea is for it to be something for team managers, team leaders. And the main idea was that, because there are different ways of seeing the second layer, there are many different things going on in the second layer, and we cannot cover all of them. So for example, when you think about different technical managerial aspects, for example, when it comes to construction projects where you have concrete work, there are many different codes and standards that you want to follow. That's really not our job to go there. That's huge, that's different, and that also depends on what happens in different countries. There are many codes about it. So that's one thing. We will never go there, we will never touch it. But something that remains there in the second layer is team leaders. And when you think about it, there are many team leaders in the world, and they try to become better. And I've seen many of them. When they want to learn more about team leadership, they go and study project management, because that's the only resource they have. And that's okay, but not perfect for them. It's not really made for them. It's usually confusing for them. What we have there for team leaders is a combination of technical and managerial aspects. So we hope that one day we can cover that as P2 Express. If we can do that properly, I think it will be a big help.
Thank you. Nice to hear. Do you see a future for P3 Express fiction?
P3 Express fiction. I'm not sure what it means, but there's a person, unfortunately, I'm not sure if I can remember the name. He's written 2 books about P3 Express, and both of them are fiction. There's a story, you can follow the story, and
So there's something to look out for.
It's already done, yes, and more people can do it if they like.
Is there a plan for a minimalist guide?
So I think the question is to have a guide for the 3rd layer for project management instead of a method or a roadmap, which is P3 Express. There can be, maybe, but I'm not sure if we need to do that because there are many guides, and also for a guide, being minimalist is not a great advantage. Being minimalist is really great for a method. But when you want to have a guide, it's like an encyclopedia. It makes sense to expect it to be maximalist. So if we see it like that, it's not really something for OMIMO. It needs a different type of perspective to solving problems and different type of organization to do that.
That's a clear strategy. I understand. I see that the clock is ticking, so we still have time for 2 other questions. How easy is it to implement P3 Express?
Oh, it's designed to be as easy as possible, really. That's the biggest point. So that's the problem it wanted to solve. I believe that someone who's really interested can learn it in 2 days and start using it in the 3rd day. And I've seen people doing that.
Okay.
So it is possible.
Okay, well, thank you. I see that our time is actually up. So,
Okay.
well, I would like to thank you, Nader, for your help
Thanks
here
everyone
in
with
our open
questions.
forum, and everybody there for asking questions. So we are coming to the end of the OMIMO Community Forum 2024. What an evening it has been. Every moment this evening has showcased the strength and passion of our community. It's truly inspiring to see so many dedicated individuals and coming together to share their ideas and shape the future of minimalist project, program, and portfolio management. We have journeyed through the history of P3 Express and its evolution into OMIMO. We celebrated our achievements through numbers and announced our support for user groups that anchor our community's enthusiasm closer to home. We had presentations from 3 open source projects that highlighted the shared values that unite us. And we've engaged in meaningful discussions during our breakout sessions. The input and suggestions collected today will undoubtedly guide us as we continue to enhance our initiatives. As this is the first event of its kind for OMIMO, there must be areas where we can improve. So to help us with that, we'll be sending out a questionnaire in the next few days to gather your feedback. Your input is essential as we continue to refine our future gatherings. A full summary of the ideas discussed in the breakout rooms will be published on our website soon. So keep an eye out for that. Additionally, all questions that weren't addressed during the session will be answered in writing over the next few days, like we announced already. If you are interested in joining independent user groups, email us at info@omimo.org. We will also be sending out a newsletter soon with more information on this exciting opportunity. It has been truly wonderful to have everyone together, exchanging ideas and insights that will help shape the future of OMIMO. Although we would typically network now in person after such an event, the remote nature of our gathering has its unique charm. So to keep the connection going, we are organizing now a short speed networking session for the active participants. You'll be paired with another participant for 3 minutes each, and you'll have the chance to connect with 3 different individuals. So if you are watching this on LinkedIn and you want to join the networking session, please follow the link provided here now. So let's make the most of this opportunity to network and exchange. Goodbye. Thank you once again for your contributions and enthusiasm, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event.